Hey guys, welcome back to Miss Anna's At-Home Science Lab. Before we get started with today's lesson, I want to let you guys know that we will be doing an experiment. Now, I will be doing the experiment here and recording it, but if you would like to do the experiment along with me, then you can do that at home or in your classroom. Teachers, I have these items you need for the experiment available to check out if you want to have someone come down to my room, and you can get them so that your students can do this experiment along with the video or with the lesson presentation slides. If you're at home, you will need paper, soap, food coloring, coffee grounds, dirt or soil, salt, raisins or something of that sort, syrup or something of that consistency, and sprinkles, or you could use glitter. You'll also need a bin with some water in it and a little floating toy. Fish is what I will be using because it goes along with the story, but if you don't have a fish that would work, you could even make just a paper boat to use, just something to be an item that is in a sensory bin. All right, once you get those materials, you may continue with the lesson. So let's get started. You'll be working to earn your 5 stars for engaging, answering questions, and paying attention. You can talk with your teachers, caregivers, or parents about what that reward will be. All right, let's watch this video to find out what will we be learning about today.
Moby! Why do you keep turning the water off? Dear Tim and Moby, what does it mean when a river is polluted? Amanda. Hey there. A body of water becomes polluted when foreign substances damage the water quality. They make the water undrinkable and dangerous for organisms to live in. People put stress on their water supply every day. We use up clean water and release pollutants into rivers, lakes, and groundwater. Even oceans can become polluted. Every body of water has some ability to deal with foreign materials. Waste can be dissolved or broken down. It can be dispersed or spread out. Or it can be recycled as food for plants and microorganisms. Usually, pollutants can be neutralized and the quality of the water isn't harmed. But when it can't handle all the substances released into it, the water becomes polluted. Pollution can enter a body of water in a few ways. It can be eroded soil or runoff containing fertilizers and pesticides. And it can be chemicals released from industries or sewage from cities and towns. Sometimes pollution doesn't even look like pollution. Often, factories or power plants will use water to cool down their machinery. When that water is released, it's hot. If there isn't enough room for it to disperse, it'll heat up the body of water and cause life to grow faster than normal. Thermal pollution like this can push out native species and leave too many nutrients in the water. Well, wherever water pollution starts, it can end pretty badly. When too many foreign substances are present in a body of water, the supply of oxygen is cut off. Without oxygen, organisms begin to die. That makes room for anaerobic microorganisms, which don't need oxygen to survive. These organisms release gases like methane and hydrogen sulfide, leaving a foul-smelling body of water filled with waste. Well, it's not just the fault of factories. A series of laws passed in the 1970s forced companies to stop dumping stuff straight into the water. But runoff from farms and ranches is still a big problem. Animal waste, fertilizers, and pesticides can wash from the soil into nearby waterways. And each of us creates water pollution as we go about our daily lives. Yep, you too. Luckily, we have ways of cleaning up a lot of that water. Plants that treat wastewater can purify it before it's released back into rivers and lakes. And researchers are always working on new ways to cut down on water pollution. But the best way to help is to be careful with your water. After all, we're not the only ones who depend on clean water. All living things need clean water to survive.
Right, thanks for watching that video with me, guys. So based on the video, we're going to make a prediction of what the lesson will be about today. But first, let's review the steps to testing an idea. We're going to listen to the question, make a prediction, analyze the information, and then check your prediction to make a conclusion. Based on the video, what do you predict we will learn about today? Gas, noise pollution, or water pollution? If you said water pollution, you are correct. Here's our I can statement for today. I can tell the difference between the 5 major types of pollution: air, water, soil, noise, and light. These are the essential questions that we will be able to answer by the end of this unit. What is pollution, and where does it occur? And what causes pollution? Let's review the steps for synthesizing knowledge before we continue. You will need to listen to your teachers, listen to the whole lesson, think about the information now, and then we will think about the information later. Vocabulary for today. We have the word water pollution. Water pollution. Can you circle water pollution? Water pollution is when waste, chemicals, or other particles cause a body of water, such as rivers or oceans or lakes, to become harmful to the fish and the animals that need that water to survive. Here are some examples of water pollution. Some of the major causes of water pollution are sewage leakage, waste dumping, trash, and littering. Another major cause is oil spills. Check this diagram out. You can see the water down here in the blue, the water table. Okay, and you can see how leaking of underground tanks and dumping of trash and spillage and leakage and sewage, which is where what goes down the toilet is called sewage, how all that ends up in the water system. All right, let's watch this video to break down water pollution just a bit more for us.
Our topic for today is water pollution. Contamination of water by harmful substances which affects life on Earth is termed as water pollution. Due to human activities, our water is getting more and more polluted day by day. Household garbage is disposed into various sources of water. Many people perform their domestic activities like bathing, washing clothes and utensils, etc. in these sources of water.
La 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 la.
Also, industrial wastes are discharged into the water, leading to water pollution. Consumption of this polluted water leads to diseases like cholera, typhoid, diarrhea, etc. in human beings. Polluted water also adversely affects the aquatic life. Thus, we need to make sure that we do not pollute water. Domestic activities like bathing, washing clothes and utensils should not be done in rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. Household garbage should not be disposed in the various sources of water. Also, sewage and industrial wastewater should be treated before discharging into the water.
Thanks for watching that, guys. All right, so it is activity time. We're going to be reading a story, and along with the story, we'll be doing an activity. This is the activity I was talking about earlier that you could get the supplies for from me, or you probably have a lot of these items at home if you are learning from home. All right, our story is called Freddy the Fish. Freddy the Fish. And this is a pollution activity. All right, I want you guys to meet Freddy the Fish. So this is my friend Freddy. There you can see Freddy the Fish. Here is a list of the things that you will need if you plan to do this activity along with me. Don't worry about the fishing line. You don't need to use that. I won't be using that in my experiment. Here are the directions. You can pause and use those if you would like. All right. Freddy the Fish. This is Freddy the Fish. Here he is. Ooh, he's hopping out of the water. He is a happy fish that lives in crystal clear water. Yep, his water is beautiful, crystal clear. He enjoys the shade of the tall trees along the river bank and gets lots of insects to munch on throughout the day. How do you think that Freddy feels? How do you think he feels now? He sounds pretty happy to me. Living life under the shade of the tall trees and nice clean water. One day, Freddy wondered what was beyond his little part of the river. He decided to go on a little journey and explore. He heads on downstream. He's getting ready to see the world. Ooh, Freddy's going on an adventure. Exciting. Along the river, Freddy first comes across a spot where bulldozers are taking out trees and clearing land. Soil and dirt roll into the river because there are no tree roots to hold the soil in place. Poor Freddie gets soil in his gills. Ooh. Oh no, fish need gills so that they can breathe. Without the trees, Freddie notices he is feeling warmer. Oh boy, okay. Let me switch this, and we are going to pour in some soil, just like the soil that was pushed into the water when the bulldozers were clearing the land. So Freddie's swimming along. He's happy in his nice clear water. And boop, the bulldozers are pushing some soil into the water. Ooh, gosh, that water is already looking yucky. It's in his gills. Look. Oh. Oh no, that water is already polluted. Let's continue our story. As Freddie continues down the river, he spots some black and white animals moving closer and closer to the river. What do you think those animals could be? A cow? I think a cow. While these animals are getting a drink, they drop a present into the water for Freddie. AKA, they poop in the water. Freddie is not impressed with the smell or the sediment that is being stirred up. Oh boy. All right. So here's Freddie swimming along the water, and the cows drop, plump, 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 their presents. He's not happy with that smell. As Freddie rounds the corner, he has to dodge a golf ball that nearly lands in the river. The golf club likes to keep their courses looking nice, so they use a lot of fertilizer. Fertilizer is a chemical that helps the grass to look beautiful. But unfortunately, when it rained last, it caused it to run off into the river. Those chemicals are not good for animals, and when it goes in the river, it pollutes the water. So let's see what happens when the fertilizer goes into the water. Here's the fertilizer. Ooh, wow. Now the water has turned a different color. See the green fertilizer? Oh goodness, now there's dirt, poop, and fertilizer. Oh, some serious water pollution. Freddie noticed that this area had a lot of tall plants growing and actually started feeling smothered. That's like feeling like you can't breathe, like you're being squished. However, Freddie is a trooper and he charged on. He was determined to see all the river had to offer. After a while of swimming, Freddie began to notice a salty taste to the water. He started to feel the sting of salt in his gills. All that salt was used on the roads in the winter. All that salt that was used on the roads in the winter had worked its way into the river. Ouch, ouch, it's hurting. Oh, how do you think Freddie's feeling? Oh. Okay, let's pour the salt in on poor Freddie. That salt comes from when they treat the roads for ice and snow and it all ends up in the water. Oh, Freddie. Oh, no. I bet Freddie is feeling pretty scared right now. Freddie continues on and passes a picnic site at a local park. As he was passing, the wind began blowing litter into the river from the park. Oh gosh, now he's getting trash dumped on him. All right, let's pour in the litter. Here's our litter. It's blowing into the river. That water's looking super grody for poor Freddie. Freddie is starting to feel a bit distressed, but he keeps moving on. It begins to rain, and Freddie notices this rain is different. It turns out this rain is acid rain caused by air pollution. Oh, boy, so you can see how air pollution and water pollution are affected by each other. All right, let's pour in the acid rain. It's raining, acid rain. Oh gosh. Looking even worse for Freddie. Oh, I'm so scared for him. Along the river's edge, Freddie comes across an old abandoned factory. There are a lot of toxic pollutants and rusty materials seeping into the river. This creates a sludge in the river. Freddie tries to swim through it. Oh boy. All right, let's pour in the sludge. Oh, gross. Oh, how is Freddie gonna swim through that? Ooh, it's all over him. He's getting stuck in it. Boy. After struggling, Freddie finally gets through the toxic pollutants in the river. Along the side of the river, Freddie notices a man dumping oil from his car into the river. The oil gets into his gills and he starts having difficulty breathing. He gasps. And Freddie takes his last breath. Oh no. Check Freddie out. He's no longer able to move. That air pollution, that water pollution was too much for sweet Freddie to handle. And that is what water pollution does to animals. And not only to fish, it impacts the whole food chain. It starts with little fish that eat tiny organic particles like seaweed. Then big fish eat those tiny little fish. And you know what? Then humans, we eat fish too. So all of those pollutants are getting into our bodies as well, just like the animals. And it's not good for the plants either. It's just a whole mess. And it hurts the entire food chain. Here are some of the effects of water pollution. It can destroy many animal habitats, so their homes, and cause damage to many ecosystems. It makes clean drinking water unable to drink. It it disrupts food chains, and it can cause diseases and make people and animals sick. All right, guys, you have done a good job listening to the lesson. Hopefully you were able to participate in the activity as well. Now let's talk about how does this lesson apply in the school, in the community, and in the world. All right, so this is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a video about that. So let's learn where this is and what it is all about.
He looks like the captain of this garbage boat.
Scenes like this are a daily reality for the crew of Seeker on their Pacific Trek. Some estimates hold that by 2050, there could be as much plastic as there are fish in the ocean.
Every day we see plastic.
I am already worried. That is why I want to show what is happening.
We go back with this net. So it's not only one net, it's many nets that are tangled together. Also some other very interesting items like this toothbrush was trapped in the net.
But what is all this junk exactly? Where does it come from? And is it really concentrated in a giant garbage patch somewhere out there? Marcus Erickson is an environmental scientist who has made it his life's mission to solve the problem of marine plastic. It's a global issue because plastic accumulates in gyres, large circular currents that thread through the world's oceans.
What's leaving land heading out to sea is all the single-use packaging. It's the straws, the bags, the bottles, the cup lids, the stir sticks, all this junk that we use once and throw away. A plastic bottle leaving California will get to Japan in about 3 to 5 years and come back across the northern half of the North Pacific. That's spinning mass of water as a gyre. Plastic trash will migrate to those zones and get stuck. We actually take boats out in the middle of nowhere, we drag our net behind the boat, and we count the plastic particles that are floating. Working with ocean modelers, we can get these regional maps of how much trash is out there, what it is, and where it is.
But answering even these basic questions about marine debris has proven to be surprisingly challenging. In fact, everything we know about the proverbial Great Pacific Garbage Patch started in 1990, when a container ship spilled 61,000 sneakers into the ocean.
Realizing that a lot of these sneakers would never come to shore, that they would just be stuck in this vortex. Curtis Ebesmeyer, working with James Ingram Jr. at NOAA, they're the ones that came up with the term Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
Captain Charles Moore is often credited with the first observations of the patch, a constellation of microplastic particles that captured the public's imagination.
Captain Charles Moore had described the area. He said, look, I'm in an area roughly twice the size of Texas where I'm doing my transects, and that hit the media by storm. There aren't these islands of trash. They don't exist. It's more like a smog of microplastic particles. Billions of them, very toxic over a wide area.
Even when they become brittle and break apart, plastic pieces persist. Unable to oxidize or become waterlogged like metals, wood, or paper, all types of plastic are designed to defeat natural decay.
In general, high-density polyethylene, number 2 plastic, is the most common plastic in consumer use. And it makes your soap bottles, it makes your toothbrushes, it makes many of the consumer goods that float out in the garbage patch.
If we think in terms of all the plastic that's been produced since 1950, since it's a synthetic material, hydrocarbons, it's probably still here today on the planet.
Dr. Sarah Jean Royer works with Dr. Nikolai Maximenko and his team at the University of Hawaii to tackle the problem of tracking trash.
Most of the time we will find only bottle caps and not the bottle itself, because the bottle is made out of PET and it's sinking because the density of PET is higher than seawater.
Despite the...
All right, guys, you can watch more of that video if you would like to, but I just wanted you to see the impact that the plastic that we are using has on water pollution, and how that plastic, it doesn't ever go away. It never breaks down. So it's very, very important to reduce the amount of plastics that you're using, to reuse them if you have to use them, and to recycle whatever you can. All right, let's review. So we will listen to the question, listen to all of the answer choices, think about your choices, and answer the question by choosing one answer choice. All right, is water pollution harmful to plants, animals, and humans? Yes or no? If you said yes, you are correct. It is very harmful to plants, animals, and humans. What is one cause of water pollution? Oil spills, plants, sun. If you said oil spills, you are correct. Drinking polluted water can make you strong, better, or sick. If you said sick, you are correct. You guys have earned 5 stars for completing this lesson. Way to go! Don't forget to complete your Google activity form. See you next time at Miss Hannah's At Home Science Lab. Bye!